STEM is a natural progression for 5- and 6-year-olds. That's how they learn. They learn through exploration, they learn through discovery, and that's what STEM is. They get to create, they get to make things. You're not telling them how to do it. You're watching the process of how they make something. They may not come out with a correct finished product. It's the process that you're watching, that they know how to make it. They know what they're doing. They're problem solving. They're trying to figure it out. And 5- and 6-year-olds are good at that. They're excited about that. They love to do that. And we need to do more of that. Who remembers what we're learning in science right now? What we're studying? Lila? Animals. And each of you brought an animal today. You brought your stuffed animals from home. And we have a lot of different ones, and we have some that are the same. We're going to talk about sorting them. We have worked a little bit on sorting different things. What are some ways that we could sort our animals? Tess?
By legs.
By legs. We can sort them by numbers of legs. How is another way? How can we sort animals a different way? Evan?
By color.
By color. We can sort them by color. How can we sort animals another way? Lila?
By motion.
Motion. That's how animals move. Good job. They move by flying, they move by swimming, they move by crawling. We're going to sort them that way today. So what I need you to do is very quickly and quietly, I need you to move to the blue edge.
Mrs. Goodman is an effective teacher because she is always searching for ideas and lessons that are authentic, where the students are actively engaged in real-world experiences, and she pulls across from all the curriculum and content areas.
All right, boys and girls, some of our friends already came up with 2 categories, 2 ways that they want to sort. Can you move back just a little bit, Gavin? Not Gavin, Gabe. Can you move back a little bit? There we go. All right, one way that one of our friends chose was to swim. Another way one of our friends chose was to slither. Okay, another way that I think we have to choose is the way Avalyn's animal moves. Avalyn, how does your animal move? Hop. Gabe, can you write hop for me? Come on up and write hop. And another way that I think we have to choose is a way a lot of animals move. And Kelsey, what is that way? Walk. Can you come up and write that for me? So while they're doing that, I want you to look at your animal and I want you to think about which one of these it fits under. Does it swim? Does it slither? Does it hop? Or does it walk? So be thinking about that while they're writing.
I also climb.
That's great. You did a good job. Nope. Don't need a period because it's not a sentence. It's just one word. All right. What one would this be that starts with the H? Hop. So we're going to put this one over here. All right. This one's a big, long word. It starts with an S. Slither. We're going to put that on the green. This one starts with a W. Walk. Walk. We'll put this on the dark green. And the last one's another one that starts with an S, but I know it's not slither because I already have slither. Swim. So I want you to be thinking about where yours would go. All right, I would like for my girls to walk and make a row where yours goes. Some of you had a hard time making choices because your animal moves lots of different ways. It may not just hop, it may not just slither, it may not just walk, it may run, it may climb. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to put it in just one spot. So let's count. Let's see. I can just look with my eyes. I know without even counting which one has the greatest number or the most. Who knows without counting which one, which category, which group has the most? Garrett, which one?
That one.
What is that one?
Walk.
Walk. Walk has the most. I can tell, but we're going to prove it. We're going to make sure, right? So I need someone that's really, really good at counting. Ooh, I got so many good counters. All right, Brody, come on up, and I want you to touch each one, and I want you to count for me real loud.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11. So we had 11. So this one's close to it, but I want to prove that this one has the most. I know these don't have very many. So we need someone else to count this one to make sure that this was the greatest or the most. Ooh. All right. Gavin, come on over and count for me. Touch each one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. We have 7 in the what group? Which group is this, Gavin? Swim, in the swim group. This one had how many? Walk had 11. And swim had how many? 7. Which is more, 11 or 7? 11. Let's prove it when we count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 was after 7, so it is the greatest and the biggest one. Which one had the fewest or the least? Ooh, raise your hand if you have an answer. This one might be a toughie. Which one had the fewest or the least? How do we know that? Rich, how do you know that?
Oh, that I can tell that one has the,
No, we're looking at these two. How do you know?
because they're equal.
How do you know they're equal? What is equal?
What, like 1 plus 1.
Not 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. We don't have 2 hops and we don't have 2 slithers.
2,
What do we have?
2. We have 1 slither and 1 hop.
And 1 and 1 are, what's that called? 2. No, not together. If 1 and 1, are they the same? Are they greater, less, or?
Same.
They're the same. What's that big word for same? It starts with an E. Equal. 1 and 1 are equal. So they tied. They both have to be the least or the fewest, right? Good job. All right, boys and girls, after this, we're going to go and we're going to use the digital camera over there. And we're also going to work on our riddles with our partners. They are very much engaged when they do it, when they get to touch things and do things on their own. So being able to see, sometimes they could actually see that the line was longer. Sometimes the line was longer, but it was because the stuffed animals were bigger. So they had to be very careful that it wasn't always the longest line that was the most. They actually had to count and look at it and touch each one and make sure that their numbers were greater or less.
Students, we've realized through research over the years that for students to retain information, they need to be engaged in something that's relevant to their real world. And no one does it better than Debi Goodman.
You didn't have to sit in your seat and do stuff alone. You had help if you needed it.
My students are really excited to use any technology. We use iPads in the classroom and we use the computers a lot. And I wanted to bring the digital camera to them because on my blog I use a lot of digital pictures and we do a lot of movies, but I make them, and I wanted them to be able to start learning how to do that and maybe use some of their pictures. So for the riddle part, I had the students take pictures of each other's animals to put underneath the riddle to verify their answers to make sure that they were correct.
My animal can stomp. My animal has skin. My animal has 4 legs. My animal lives in Africa. What is my animal? An elephant. Let's see. Okay, now give me yours to mine. My animal can swim. My animal has scales. My animal has 0 legs. My animal lives in the ocean. A shark.
One of the most important parts is the collaboration piece. The children working together are much more engaged. They're better listeners. They want to learn from each other. They think that they're playing. They're actually learning a lot of skills that maybe one child has a lot of background knowledge in, another child doesn't. We're getting the listening and speaking component where they have to model to each other and be able to listen and retell what the other has said. We work a lot on collaboration. It is not something that comes naturally. They kindergarten especially does not stay on topic sometimes, so we work hard of what the rules are, face to face, knee to knee. I'll listen to you, you listen to me. Sometimes one person wants to be the only speaker, so we have to learn on sharing and taking time to listen to the other person. When the STEM lesson was made, I wanted them to work in pairs because sometimes they're a little tentative in speaking on their own in front of the whole group, and if they're in a small group, they're able to do it a little bit better and not be as intimidated. They have to listen to each other, and my students don't always listen. They always know what they want to say, and they don't always listen to what their partner says. So when I have them come back in whole group, I ask them, what did your partner say, instead of what did you say? Okay, boys and girls, we're going to start the E part in STEM. What does the E mean again? Engineering, and that's a big fancy word for building. So we get to build, and this is our favorite part, building. Mrs. Goodman is going to give you some cards. We're going to be doing 2D shapes. What are some of the 2D shapes that we have learned? Evan, what's one? A circle is one of our 2D shapes. What's another 2D shape that we have learned? Garrett?
A cylinder.
Nope, that's a 3D. Remember, that takes up space. A 2D shape is flat. Okay. What?
Like a pancake.
Like a pancake.
What about like a 3D triangle?
Not a 3D triangle, 2D triangle, right? A triangle, circle. What's another one? We have 5 of them. Sophia?
A square.
A square is one. Kelsey? Excuse me. 2D shapes. Andres?
Rectangle.
Rectangle. Ooh, do we have one more? It's hard when it gets down to the last one. Do you remember, Andrew? Yep.
Hexagon.
Ooh, Daniel said it. What was it?
Hexagon.
What is it? It's a hexagon. How many sides does a hexagon have? 6. Okay, I'm going to give you some cards. I'm going to give you something special for you and your partner to make a pen. What is a pen? It's not the one you write with. What is a pen? Sophia, what's a pen?
It's like a gate but flat.
Right, it's kind of like a gate or a fence, but it's not going to be 2D. It's going to be flat, like a 2D shape. So you're going to make a pen for you and your partner's animal. So think in your head, what is the easiest way to do that? Should you make it first and then put your animal in?
No.
Why not?
Because.
Why? Why would? Oh, if it doesn't fit, you'd have to do it all over again. So you need to be thinking and be problem solvers and figure out how you're going to do that. Now, if I give you a certain thing to make your shapes with, we have one shape that's kind of funny. It's kind of different than the other shapes.
Triangle.
Nope.
Hexagon.
And it doesn't have something. Brooks, what's? No, that's in for punctuation. We're talking about shapes. Avalon? Circle. That is the funny one. So if you're given something you cannot make a circle with, you're going to have to be a problem solver and come up here and choose something else. Okay? The engineering part of our STEM activity was to be able to, how can you make a pen for your stuffed animal and your partner's stuffed animal? And we used the 2D shapes that were in our math curriculum at that point. I looked around the classroom for things that I did not have to purchase. So we used paper clips, we used popsicle sticks and cubes and attribute box and yarn and pipe cleaners and things that were readily available that I did not have to purchase. The kids then had to use task cards that were differentiated. One set had the actual picture of the 2D shape on it. The next one just had the words, and then the final one had more of a clue. So if it was a hexagon, it had the picture of a hexagon. The middle card would have the word hexagon. The last card would have, how can you make a pen that has 6 sides? So they would have to know that a hexagon had 6 sides. I would partner them by ability to do the task cards because they are differentiated. So maybe my lower students would get the ones with the picture, and the middle students would get the ones with just the word, and the higher ones would get the higher order thinking skill ones where they would just have the clues on it. When they're actually engineering or building their pens, I'm more of a facilitator. I'm not the teacher in the classroom at that point. They're each other's teachers. So I just kind of go around and make sure that they're staying on task, that they're doing the shapes that they need, and if they're having difficulty, then I ask them leading questions to kind of guide them where they need to be. I don't tell them what they need to do. I'm hoping that they'll be able to figure it out together. Okay, what shape are you making?
We're making a circle.
Okay, what are you going to need? Can you make a circle with those? Can you make a circle with those?
No.
No. What are you going to do?
We're going to build a square.
Why don't you go over there and you both figure out what can you use to make a circle? What could you use?
I think it's important for teachers to realize when they step into the classroom that it's easy to teach the content, but for it to be something that's relevant for the students and something that they're going to retain as a lifelong learner themselves, that they need to actively engage the students. And it can't just be through worksheets. You have to get them engaged in learning and going through the skills and reflecting on what they've done.
After we finish our engineering project, we always have a reflection time where we talk about what were your successes, what were your challenges, did you want to share anything? And a lot of my children will talk about something that they had difficulty with, and another group will say, yeah, I had that same problem, or I figured it out this way. All right, we had fun engineering and building. Who learned something, reflecting, talking about what happened? Did anybody have some thoughts on what happened? Andrew S.?
On the hexagon was hard, and we had to
Here, Marshall, sit up.
something else than other what we have, and we had to get popsicle sticks.
Popsicle sticks were...
So we had started with what we had.
Is it okay if you don't build it right the first time? Yes. Is it okay if you don't build it right the second time?
Yeah.
We talked about scientists doing things hundreds of times, and sometimes in their life they never get it right, but they keep trying. It's okay. Did anybody else have trouble with the hexagon? That's a hard one. That's a harder one because it's a little bit bigger and has more sides on it. Anyone else have any troubles or successes that they want to tell us about? Kelsey, what did you find?
We had trouble doing what? The rectangle.
You had trouble with that rectangle?
And the triangle.
And the triangle. Why did you have trouble? What was the trouble?
Because the triangle is too small, so we had to use lots.
Ah, the triangle was too small for the pen for your animals and you had to make it bigger.
And this stuff didn't work because it was too long.
Did you try something different when it didn't work?
If she means too small, it's actually too small.
Did you try something different or did you still keep the pipe cleaners?
Mrs. Goodman. We use that and that.
What is that and that?
We use the popsicle sticks work better.
Worked better for your rectangle. Why do you think they worked better?
Because they weren't bendy and they were short enough and those are too big.
Right, they weren't bendy. The pipe cleaner worked better for what shape, everybody? Circle. And usually the straight things worked better for the shapes that had straight lines, right? Did anyone have any issues or successes or challenges that they want to talk about? Allison?
When I was doing the circle, Andrew and me, when we were doing the circle, we are using pipe cleaners. When we were doing it around, they didn't stick together, so I had to tie them. And I had to flop Perry's tail up. So Andrew gave me. We had 2 more pipe cleaners. Andrew got 2 more pipe cleaners. I untied some, and then I tied those 2 together.
So we
to
made
make
it
bigger.
bigger when you used more pipe cleaners so your animals would fit in your pen? Good job. Next time, was there something else that you would like to do differently or try? For teachers that would like to integrate their curriculum more, I would say don't be afraid to set a goal for yourself. You can't do everything all at once. So set a goal for yourself, and if maybe it's 3 activities that you want to do a month, and collaborate with your team, work together, find activities that lend themselves in your curriculum to go together. So look at your science, look at your social studies. That lends itself to writing across the curriculum, and you get, I say, more bang for your buck. Time is very limited in school, and you're able to address more needs if you integrate your curriculum. If I can integrate my social studies with my writing, then I've covered 2 subjects, and I've let my children have more experience rather than just learning the facts about Columbus Day or about Veterans Day or about Thanksgiving. They're actually writing about it, so they're able to show me what they've learned and be able to put it down on paper and share collaboratively with their friends so that I can see that they really do understand the concepts.